All right, so Alfred is coming along really well. I put off doing him for like about a month. I started him, I think, at the end of November. No, no, sorry, end of September. Now it's the beginning of November. So yeah, all of October I didn't touch him. I've been busy with all the stories, which have been fantastic. But I can't continue making models until I finish Alfred because my new rule is I gotta finish whatever I started if I want to move on to the next thing. And I'm glad I'm doing that because uh, he's turning out really cool. I mean, I've got all the parts painted that I need painted. Whole bunch of green wheels. I finally realized this is such a basic color theory thing, but I never really realized this, is that if you want to darken a color without losing the kind of vibrant nature of it, if you want to darken a color but keep it rich, you don't add black. It's tempting when you want to darken something to just add black. Don't do that. So Alfred is painted with this green and this yellow. But you mix these together, you get a very bright green. So I added some red, and it's a different brand because red is terrible unless you get like a glass paint or something, because red is so dull in these brands. But anyway, so I mixed in red with these two, and that darkened it, right? But it remained rich. So this is a pretty rich green. It's closest I could get to LNER green. I really like the look of it. Anyway, all of that to say, I'm very happy with the color. It's really cool looking at all these wheels. I don't have Henry with me right now, but he's a lot brighter than this. But it still has that lighter color. Like, it's not as dark as Great Western green or Brunswick green. It's not as light as Northwestern green. It's kind of a nice middle ground. Anyway, I'm making this video to say that I discovered a really cool way to do kind of pinstriping on LNER boilers, because I'm really happy with how this looks. You can see this first one I haven't replaced yet. That was all done by hand. I just kind of took the pen and I just kind of slowly went along it. And then I kind of scraped out the excess with the thumbtack. Well, these, I didn't do that. What I did was, let me try to show you this, because this is a great trick. Now, I don't know if I can do this with one hand, so I'm going to have to... How do I do this? That's how I do this. Okay. Still there? Good. So what I've been doing is... There we go. That'll do. So what I've been doing is lining this up. I take a ruler, just like a plastic ruler. Could be a wooden one. I don't see any reason it couldn't be. I line it up almost to the edge, right? And I make sure it's parallel all the way. I hold it down. Then I go along. Oh, this is the bad pen. Hold on. I go along the entire length like that. I maybe even go over it twice in case the pen needed a moment to get started. Then I move it slightly, just enough so you can see the white on the other side. And then I take a box cutter. I go all the way along like that. Then I do that. And you wind up with a very clean pinstriping line. Now, this isn't the best. I wasn't very precise with it. I'm just trying to illustrate. You can do it a few times and you'll get the right, you'll get it down eventually. But like that right there is a really good example. Like, that's really crisp, right? And then you just wrap that around, around the boiler wherever you need it. There's no boiler band here, but just as an example. And you can see how that goes. So it seems pretty obvious, but I didn't think to do it until now. Now, you might be wondering what this even is. So this is just, I'll take a roll of masking tape and I'll get white paint and I'll dab it across the entire thing, do a few layers, then it dries, then I peel it off and it comes off in a strip. Like, I got some orange one here for Annie and Clarabelle. So that just, it's basically tape in that color. And then I just slice off whatever strips I need. So you know, I'll paint a whole piece of masking tape red, and that's how I get boiler bands like the ones on Thomas here. So it's really great. It's a much easier way to go about lining your engines than doing it by hand. Like you know, like actually like painting with a paintbrush or a paper clip or a thumbtack or whatever you use. It's a lot easier to line it. I mean, that's kind of like what people talk about with the Electroline tape on Gauge 1 replicas or whatever it's called. I don't care to buy any of that just because I doubt it's that expensive, but like I'd have to buy a lot of different colors. And considering I have a perfectly good roll of masking tape here and all the paint colors I could ever want, it's a lot easier just to paint the roll as I need the tape and then just cut off the slices that I want. It's cheaper that way. I'm not trying to win any prizes here. Anyway, so I think it's turning out pretty well, and this is something you've probably got all the tools to do already. If you need lining and you want it to look good, and the L&ER just was so classy with the way that they did kind of the dual striping like this. Is there a word for that? Does anyone know? I call it pinstriping. They're boiler bands, but you know, there's pinstriping's like a hot rod term. Like, there's got to be a word for like the L&ER double stripe. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, it's really pretty, and it takes it from looking like a Hornby Railroad model to making it look like a Hornby Railways model. I mean, obviously, it's just wooden railway, but you know, the one thing that I want to kind of, you know, that I'm not compromising on at all is the colors and the you know, the general like energy of the engine. So, you know, the shape, I want it to be as simple as possible, keep it easy. But then the details, I want the boiler bands to look as good as they can. I want the color to be as good as it can possibly be. But even then, I'm not too fussy, really. Anyway, so all this to say, Alfred's coming along. He's almost done. He's probably going to be done today. And yeah, I'm happy with it. It's making me want to make more L&ER engines. Anyway, thought I'd share that. So if you ever want to, you know, do lining or boiler banding and it's a pain in the ass, a box cutter on some masking tape with a ruler held in place helps. Be careful with it, honestly. I was hardline against box cutters for a long time. This is Dustin's, actually, Rudy Productions. But yeah, box cutters are fine, you know. I mean, they're, as long as you're careful with them, like with anything else. But yeah, anyway. So that's what I found out today.